well, he's delayed for a bit, so they're probably going to make a quick remake after the draft, but let's go over that later on. First of all, joined by Formless here, carry player for Complexity Gaming. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, it's going pretty well. We just actually got O2, but other than that, doing
Oh
good.
yeah, about that. Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to dwell too much in the past, but
Yeah, not too much.
well, Evil Corporation, they played really well, so
Yeah, they
it's
did.
not entirely up to you guys, or uh, like all the blame can't be put on you guys, so to say. They played well, but yeah, unfortunate results, of course. But hey, only the first group stage match right there. I mean, you got 7 more to go, if I'm not mistaken. No, 6 more to go.
Yeah, we have a lot more.
And remind me if I'm wrong, but or correct me if I'm wrong, but during cycle 1, well, you did end up winning in the end, but during the group stage, didn't you place at that 4th place?
Yeah, we did. The first weekend we got O2 by BMG, just like we just got O2 by Reason now. But we're definitely gonna take it more serious and definitely set up a lot of scrims this week. So
All right, sounds good. By the way, I think that we have a ringer here on the Legion side as well. S4, 7, 4, and
yeah,
5.
I've never
Uh,
seen this guy before.
I have seen him not in a competitive team, but he's been playing, or he's been around playing in the high TMM scene quite a bit. So I'm sure that he should be all right at least. I'm not entirely sure what role he's going to be filling here. Who is missing? Help me out here.
Zibby is.
Oh,
Oh, he has some big shoes to fill.
that is, yeah, you're absolutely correct with that statement. Like, that is not an easy spot to fill whatsoever. Sibu, of course, being one of the, well, if not the best, like, suicide player on the scene. Like, he's been around for so long right now, and he's also the one making the calls for We So Fresh, like, when it comes to general team decisions. So yeah, that is indeed troublesome news here for We So Fresh. But as I also stated earlier, like, Hellborn team, they have a ringer of their own, so they are probably even in that way. Anything that stands out for you so far when it comes to the draft, by the way?
The first pick Clanks. I think Hellborn did a pretty decent job of countering the first pick. The heroes with a lot of jump, like Swiftblade, Doctor Pulsar, are really good against the hero. Um, and then Tempest is just a general good hero. Legion's draft, though, I really like it because they have such a strong, like Midas is such a strong hero, especially with Parasite in the jungle. If they can just protect that Clanks, then Clanks will win the game.
Yeah, kind of like Evil Corporation in game number 1 versus you guys earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Got that Clanks, or showing off the power of the Clanks once more. Like we said, like last cycle, people kind of like tend to blind ban Clanks almost every single game, but now cycle 2, new week, and people kind of tend to forgot about it once more. They're like, ah, okay, never mind. Let's deal with the Clanks, but then they see it in action once more, and they're like, ah, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Let's go back to blind banning
Keep
it.
that hero on permaban.
Indeed. Blind bans, by the way, from our Legion side, Ravenor and Wild Soul. And for the Hellborn team, it's Moira and the Tremble. But what stands out to me is that Ravenor ban. Like, why would you want to blind ban the Ravenor in this game?
You see. So wait, does Hellborn have like any good Revenant players?
They, I'm not entirely sure if this is a permanent roster change by any means, but now the Ravenor player is, well, he used to be the captain at least for this Hellborn team. He used to be the drafter. I'm not sure if he's missing here simply for today, or if the new name that they have here, Rexus Reborn, actually, they go under now rather than Shopstick Gaming. So I'm not entirely sure if he's been replaced by any means, or if it's simply for today. But he is normally the one playing the Ravenor in this team. So now when he's out, I don't think that they have someone that stands out on that hero.
Well, I mean, Mint did really want to first pick the Clank, so I mean, Ravener is a pretty good hero against Clank, so that might have been the reason behind the initial ban.
That is a good observation. Yeah, that's true. Ravenor does pretty well versus the Clanks.
I
Obviously,
really like the Andro pick here because the fact that like Hellborn has a lot of jump, but as long as they keep that Clanks alive with the Andro, then Clanks is going to do so much damage and just complete. He could completely win a team fight by himself.
are you
Yeah.
almost surprised seeing that Hellborn didn't choose to blind ban, or not blind ban, but to get rid of that Andromeda in the second banning phase here?
What do they ban out? They banned out Cersei, Pebbles, Magnus. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I don't really care for the Cersei ban, Cersei, however you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have rather seen an Andro ban, especially with the Clinks pickup.
Yeah,
But
I totally agree on that part. Like, not only is Andromeda and Clanks a very dangerous combination to go up versus for the reasons that we stated earlier, but also for the fact that yeah, he's an excellent counter to towards the Tempest. So not getting rid of him, that's might be a little bit of a mistake here, but we will see what they tend to go for instead. They're going to pick up their Meraxus as their final pick. Is this going to be the Meraxus in the Suicide lane, or is it going to be in the mid lane, you think?
well, the thing is, I mean, they can. Oh, Rexus in this. I think it's gonna be a Midas Suicide and Rexus mid.
So let's see. S4. Wait, who would be playing the Meraxus? That would be left for Haxoran in that case. I'm not sure if I've ever seen Haxoran play Meraxus. Obviously, I know that he can play the initiation role, but still might be a little bit. Or cause a little bit of issues here having a Meraxus or a Haxoran on that initiation role.
I've never really seen Haxoran play. Like, yeah, I've never seen him play Meraxus. I usually, when he plays on Initiator, I see him on like Prisoner or Pebbles most of the time. So.
Yeah, Hellborn team as well. They got 15 more seconds to think about this final pick here. Something to fill the suicide role, I would almost assume, or maybe the mid role, depending on where they want the Swiftblade. Of course, he would go up versus the Clanks and Andromeda. So let's see, one more second. Thinking a long time about this one and face palm, right?
Devour? What? So, do they want to run a Suicide Swiftblade and Doctor Pulse on top of the Devo mid?
I have absolutely no idea what to expect out of this.
I,
I don't see Devourer as a viable hero. Do you disagree?
I mean, he can not really. He's not like he can be viable in a sense that if you man up with him, then he can like get lots of kills and shut down the enemy safe lane. But like I would have preferred to see like a Deadwood, a Lodestone, or a Pharaoh in the last pick because they needed an initiator for their last pick.
Yeah, this seems very odd indeed. Like Devour, like I would assume that they are going to be run him in a dual mid together with the Glacius. Of course, the Ice Prison into the hook is a nice setup for the hook, but at the same time, Meraxus, of course, not only can he use the Arcane Shield through the Ice Prison, he can also dodge the hook with it. So it's
Was
like, what?
was Prisoner banned? I didn't check to see because I think Prisoner would have been actually pretty good against Legion's lineup. Well, especially against the Midas at least. They sent Midas mid and
That is true.
and like yeah, but any hook hero that goes mid with Glacius is usually gonna have a really good time. So
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Perhaps they got some kind of a plan. Like we did see BMG during DreamHack, for example, run it in the forest where they hook the creeps and pull it all the way through the forest and deny your opponents some experience and gold in that way. But I don't see that happening, seeing as they already got the Tempest on their side. Never mind all pick. All right, so they failed with the lobby. Don't join this one. It's unfortunate. Well, actually, let's just go on a small break because I'm not entirely sure if their last player has arrived yet. Perhaps we're looking at a few additional minutes here. But yeah, we will be right back at least. It shouldn't take too long. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back once more. Welcome back to Homecast. Sorry for the delay. Rocky Balboa was unfortunately delayed a little bit, so we had to wait for him to arrive. They had a ringer ready to go, but he made it just in the last minute. So here we are. As you guys can see, the draft has already been done. Devourer, final pick for the Hellborn team. What do we really think about that? Mr. Beaver, are you with me? Seems like we are in.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
There we go. Muted
Yeah.
perhaps.
I mean, the pickup's definitely interesting, but I don't know if it's gonna really work out like they hope for. But it's definitely gonna be entertaining to watch. So
I feel like it's like I just don't see him being good versus any hero on the Legion side, more or less. Like I feel like he's incredibly weak versus the Parasite, incredibly weak versus the Midas, incredibly weak versus the Meraxus. I don't know if they want him to act like a lockdown factor for the Clanks or what the deal was with this pick, but I sure hope that they have some kind of plan. Actually, seems like he's going for Logger's Hatchet and the Shield here.
okay, so I guess he is going to be mid. I know that Plictissa, I think Devour is a comfort hero for him, so that might be part of it too. So I was whispered by Serenia, and he told me that Hellborn team is actually his old team, Rexars, like all the players, so it's kind of a grudge match.
That is indeed true. Good thing that you brought that up. This is indeed the entire like old Rexers squad right now. So I guess that answers our question as well for earlier. It seems like now he's actually not playing with these guys anymore. And I think it was Chowley as well, their former support player that was playing with them during Cycle 1. He's also been replaced then. So bringing the old Rexer squad back together. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys can pull off. New fresh start, so it's safe to say that they want to start off with with a very impressive game number 1 here, to say the least, to get the momentum and the attitude and all that going as soon as possible. We're looking
So it is going to be a Midas Suicide.
That it is played by, well, can we just agree on calling this guy, or what should we call this guy? Like, we cannot pronounce his name.
We will just call him
S4.
I don't know.
He's called S4.
S4. Okay.
S. Everyone knows what we mean with that.
S4. All right.
S4, Team Secret player, former Team Secret player, now Alliance player. But let's leave that for another day. So we see a Word of Scyther at least placed by the Glacius for that pressure. I should be aware of the fact that Midas placed one as well, but obviously we can see that there is no Word of Revelation from the Glacius. So a little bit of a mistake almost to a certain point right there. Like not having a Word of Revelation. What do we think about that?
I mean, Midas is definitely going to have. I don't predict Midas going to die at all up here until at least Doctor hits 6. He has good vision of the Glacius, and he's going to be able to play around the creeps, and maybe even get a kill on Glacius if he plays it right.
Oh yeah, well, Glacius putting on a little bit of pressure here at least. Of course, got that longer out attack range, trying to box out the Midas as good as possible. And there we see a contrapation placed by Dr. Repulsor as well, just to provide that extra vision and make it a little bit easier for Glacius to actually last hit, or for actually harass him. Oh, by the way, Swiftlet down at the bottom. It seems like, oh no, the vision was lacking there for a few seconds. The port is going to be successful, I think. Oh, that was so incredibly close. Well played by Denver Pro, though, actually going for that port. I'm surprised that he actually had a port this early on. He must have had taken a detour into the outpost.
Yeah. One thing about this lane, though, is Swiftfoot has to be super careful, because when his spin is down, he is so vulnerable to being killed by Android Clanks. Like, I don't think Swiftfoot can be aggressive here and spin down waves, because Swiftfoot usually can. He has to use that pretty much just as an escape mechanism.
Yeah, I can definitely see why. Clanks, of course, are the lane is going to push a little bit here, so I guess that's good news for him. So he's going to be able to get a little bit of experience here, at least in the near future. Midas still struggling at the top lane, not entirely able to stay in experience range.
Devour is actually doing really well middle against this Meraxus.
Oh yeah, 333 gold per minute so far, actually winning the creep kills versus Haxran. Is that something that you would predict? Or is
I
that
mean, I
something?
think that they can go about even in this matchup. Steve Marexis looks like he actually the Parasite's coming in for a gank on mid.
I don't think that this is going to be enough damage though. After all, they need to be a little bit careful about the turn potential from the hook. There we go. It's going to be failed, unfortunately, but a good attempt at least coming out from Devour here in the mid lane.
One thing about the Devour versus Marexis matchup is I'm pretty sure the Marexis Arcane Shield blocks the hook.
That it indeed does. So that is indeed a problem, and also a little bit of a question mark for why they actually decided to run Devour here versus this Meraxus. But you would predict Meraxus to do fairly well in this matchup, I would say, seeing as that more accessibility of his is of course percentage-wise, and it's going to deal a lot of damage to the Devour. Oh, what's going
So
on over
Glacier's
here, by the way? Look at Swiftblade, yeah.
oh,
He is, might be in trouble. Comet goes off, Leech as well. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to have enough damage to bring him down. He's actually running in circles a little bit though. I feel like he kind of misstepped, and yep, he is going to go down. Haxorn is going to be the one that gets credit for the kill, and that's a wonderful boost to his gold remainder right now. That's going to secure the Marchers for him, as well as they already picked up a bottle here.
yeah, that was huge for mid. I'm not sure why Hax or Denver Swiftblade didn't spin at all though. He could have at least blocked some
Oh,
damage
top lane,
from
they're
the.
actually going to be able to catch Midas, the Marchers. Dr. Repulsor is going to be able to run up and get to him. But yeah, continue. I'm not entirely sure either why he chose to wait with that spin for so long right there.
Yeah, Devourer was set up to hook him out, but he did not choose to spin, and like Marexis got
That's
several axes on him.
true. I didn't even think of that, but Devour, yeah, you could actually use the hook there to actually hook him out of trouble as well. So I guess that is a little bit of miscommunication though. There is an invisibility here, by the way, in the mid lane onto Andromeda. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to have the damage output to bring down Devour, but at least they are going to deal a lot of harassment damage. Or never mind, did I speak too soon? It is going to be close. Of course, Arcane Shield, as you mentioned, does block the hook, so he cannot go for that. He's going to try to go for Andromeda instead, but did you see that range right there on the Arcane Shield? It seemed like the hook was almost out of, beside Meraxis, but it still was absorbed. Probusk, of course, on Clanks down here at the bot lane as well. He's gonna continue to farm here. Close to a perfect creep score, I would assume. I'm not entirely sure. Do you know how much creep kills
Let me
perfect
see.
is at
How
this
many
point?
does he have? He's doing fairly well. He's missed a few, but that's to be expected. Um,
Is it? Is it now?
I mean, we can't all be perfect, do we?
Oh, really? I thought you were. So what? Yeah, what if you're down here? Like the suicide player has left, Swiftblade is no longer here, and you're like down here freely last sitting. What happens if you actually miss a creep kill? What's the first thought that comes to mind? Is it like, oh my gosh, I hope nobody saw me, or is it more like, what you got? What the hell are you doing in the forest? Why are you only level 5? You should be level 7 at least.
Well, like if I have complete free farm, let's say like a Steam Boots, I get really frustrated if I miss a creep kill because that's completely on me. And it's just aggravating. But Clanks is doing fairly well because oh look at mid. Oh, did you see that?
No, unfortunately I missed. What happened?
Doctor TP's in. He tries to fly on the Meraxis, and Devo throws a hook. So right as Doctor like lands from his flight, Devo hooks him right back.
Ah, that's unfortunate right there. Something that I wanted to go over as well, Swiftblade has been doing a lot of roaming around, but I almost feel like, I mean, the bot lane, it has been pushing in. I mean, Clanks has been putting a lot of pressure on this tower. Don't you feel like Swiftblade almost should be down here to try to absorb the damage? Or,
Yeah,
I mean,
he could
to get
be
experience?
he could be soaking him experience, and I don't think they have the kill potential on him. Especially since Hellborn does have a ward, neither Ancients, spotting rotations from like Parasite or Andro if they wanted to dive behind the tower. So I mean, he could be okay bottom, but as you see, Andro is actually moving to set up to secure the tower kill right here. But we do have a Devourer with a haste.
That we do. Andromeda might be in trouble. There is a fortification as well, I think, for the tower, so Clanks is not going to be able to bring it down quite yet. Andromeda is actually going to take a lot of damage, and at the same time they get a pick off onto Midas up at the top lane, so 1-for-1 trade and 1-for-1 in tower exchanges as well. Who would you feel like this favors at this point?
I think it favors Hellborn. I mean, of course, Probus got like the tower kill. And that he is on Clanks, but the Hellborn did get 2 kills, and the Hellborn got the tower. So that means just more overall gold for the team. And I think that it's definitely on the first step to recovery for Swiftblade, grouping up with his team right now.
Yeah,
You can see he can't lane bottom anymore.
Yeah, no. He is rooted over here, and they are putting a lot of pressure on this tier 2 tower as well. I'm actually a little bit surprised the Legion team is not making bigger efforts to defend this, but it seems like the Hammer team are going to fall back now. At least they forced some rotations at least, but Haxran still remains in that mid lane, not looking to rotate over whatsoever, and this is probably going to open up for the Hellborn team to once again put even more pressure and potentially bring down this tower.
Yeah, definitely. I think this tower is going to fall here. They have. Oh.
Are they
As you say
actually
that.
going to be able to, like, that's Haxran, by the way. Instead of trying to flank, he ports in, and now he's behind the Hellborn team. I don't think that they have the means to actually be able to catch, or do they? Elemental Void, it's a perfect one. Parasite trying to cancel, he's gonna be able to do it. Doctor Pulsar are going to be locked down as well. This is gonna backfire big time, so the Legion team in defending, they were right. Now Glacius is trying to escape. 3 people already down though, and I would assume that Glacius is going to be falling here in the near future. Leech, if only he can reach, there we go. He's going to go down as well in the near future, at least I would assume. Where is Devour? He's still in the mid, so no help is coming, and there we go. 4-0 exchange in favor of the Legion team.
Yeah, that was definitely something that was really unfortunate for Hellborn, because they can't, against the Clinks, you can't let those early team fights turn out like that. You have to be on top and then constantly pressuring him. So this is really unfortunate for Hellborn, because Clinks is definitely going to skyrocket from here, because he has a Thunderclad now and an Astrolabe pickup on Parasite.
An Astro pickup on Parasite, interesting. I haven't seen that route before. Not straight up Astro, I think. But looking at the Hellborn lineup, it actually makes a lot of sense. Especially since Midas is struggling. Otherwise we would see the Midas being the one to pick up the Astro, but in this case, yeah. Seems to be doing pretty good. So far Devour has, well, hasn't really been able to accomplish too much here, and I'm not entirely sure if we can expect him to really do too much here in the near future either. What do you think that should be the next item choice here for Devour?
For Devour, see, personally, I don't know. Like, I would like him to pick up a Vestments, of course, but like maybe like Vestments Tablet BKB or Vestments Portal Key BKB.
Vestment Tablet, yeah, Vestment that could be a good investment at least. By the way, Hellborn team are going to push the top tower once more, and it is going to fall without too much struggle right there. So nice pickup on their part. Obviously Flex Kavana as well. Finish up the Grave Locket. Would you expect Icon of the Goddess to come up here for the Doctor Repulsor?
I mean, I would for the most part, but he did actually end up going a Grave Locket instead of turning the amulet into a Mana Ring. So he might not be looking to go Icon, maybe like into a fast Hellflower or even a Grimoire.
Alright, is that something that you feel, or what would you personally prefer for him to go in this game? Like,
I mean, if he's not going to get an Icon by at least 15 minutes, then I would suggest just like, that's fine, like maybe build a Hellflower here.
Oh, the hook, by the way, on Meraxus in the mid lane, but of course the Arcane Shield is going to prevent the ultimate from being activated. Freeze is also going to be negated somehow, and Meraxus actually even looking to turn around onto Glacius. I'm not sure, he's overstaying his welcome a little bit too long though, almost, I feel. Dr. Pool's going to jump in here as well. There's another beautiful quick stun though, followed up by the Comet Stun. Tempest is here, but does not have an Astro, does not have the means to support his teammates, and he's going to be locked down as well. This is just snowballing out of control right now for the Legion team.
Yeah, definitely. I don't see how Hellborn's going to recover from this, especially with Haxran. Almost 500 GPM on Demon Initiator, and Clink's already at 500 GPM. This looks pretty grim.
Wow, you're right. Haxran, yeah, almost 500 gold per minute. He already got that portal kit delivered right there, as we can see, and an additional 500 gold saved up. Oh, unfortunately though, he's gonna whiff the Quake Stun right there on Dr. Repulsor. I don't think it would have resulted in a kill anyway, seeing as the Facehug was on cooldown still for Parasite, but still unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, you gotta question the Devour pickup. Like, as we can see, like, there's absolutely nothing he can do versus Meraxus. Even if he lands the hook, he can't follow it up with that ultimate of his because of the Arcane Shield. Meraxus has time to use the Arcane Shield before Devour actually gets the ultimate off.
Yeah, the only scenario in which Devour would be doing well in this game is if he snowballs out of control near the game. But he's fallen far behind, and Devour is not... I guess he's not the hero that like can recover. He has to be snowballing to even have like a really like decent impact on the game.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. And Tempest, by the way, is, well, he's closing in on that Astro of his, but his team is already at a disadvantage. And something that we saw Tankafat do in the series or the previous series versus you guys was to rush that Chalice instead, and then of course having the Oogie bring the mana regeneration instead with the mana ring. I would almost have preferred that in this game as well, like having the Dr. Pulsar with of course the mana ring that we were talking about, and then have the Tempest just going for that Chalice and bring the early pressure to the Legion team, rather than trying to sit back here and get farm on Dr. Pulsar.
Yeah, it's definitely you farm faster with the Chalice. I'm pretty sure. I don't play much Tempest, so I don't know, but I know it lets for the quick Astrolabe, especially if your carry gets a mana ring. Then with that quick Astro, you can force fights and towers, so that's always a good pickup.
That it is. Firebrand picked up on Clanks right there, and well, Dr. Pulsar, you were right, at least he's going for that Hellflower, but he's still he's still far from completion, so it's going to be another, I don't know, I mean, it would be at least another 7 minutes, I would assume, before he actually finishes that Hellflower, and I'm not sure if they have the luxury to actually sit back and wait that long. Clanks is just going to be snowballing out of control at that point.
The thing is, they need to pressure earlier. They don't have any initiation heroes. They have Doctor Repulsor, but they need like a mobility item on Devour to do anything against the Clinks. So they essentially have no catch for the Clinks at the moment, especially with the Andro swap. So Clinks is just gonna have a free time farming and just staying in the back and killing people. The Hellborn team has no way of dealing with the Clinks right now.
Yeah, and yet another tower falls in the favor of the Legion team, as we can see here. Clanks in the mid lane as well with that invisibility rune. Maybe not the most favorable hero for the Invis rune, but hey, does that matter when you have a Miraxus helping you out? No, it does not, and Dr. Pulsar once more falls, and he is only level 8 compared to the 4 levels higher Clanks. And if you're a Dr. Pulsar versus a Clanks, it's safe to say that you want to be a few levels ahead as well.
And Doctor's nowhere near a Hellflower, which is their only chance of killing this Clanks before he's gonna have a BKB pretty soon, which I know. I think that Boy or Probus likes to no slow on Clanks also. So if he does choose to go that route, he's pretty much gonna be unkillable.
Yeah, not looking good here for the Hellborn team. Alchemist Bones, by the way, being picked up by Denver Pro. That's Courier in trouble. The hook is going to be negated. Swap from Andromeda going to come out in the last second. Swift Slash is unfortunately only going to bounce once, and Miraxus is actually going to be able to make it out of there. Andromeda, of course, being the sacrificial lamb, but I think the Legion team are more than happy with that trade. Actually, Clanks looking to take the fight. Elemental Voido still up. They need to be careful not to be locked down. Here we go. Rocky Balboa trying to get into range. He's going to be able to. He's going to be cancelled there. Almost a little bit too late though. Clanks is already dead, so is Parasite. He's gonna follow his teammate to the death. Midas in trouble. Devour still standing strong, actually going to be finished up here in the near future, but the Hellborn team are looking, never mind, they were looking good for a second, but they're going to be turned around on right now, and it's going to be a genocide in the end for the Legion team. That was a close fight, but in the end, Legion team actually coming out on top.
And that was definitely a huge swap from Andro to save Miraxus. The Miraxus surviving and coming back in the fight to finish them all off. So that was definitely a good play by Serenia there.
Almost feel like Probusk was a little bit too greedy, or almost overconfident right there, like just going straight in.
Yeah, he walked straight into like the middle of them. That was a little bit. I think that was a mistake by Probusk, but overall it turned out okay.
Yeah, in the end, Legion team is coming out on top on that team fight, of course. That was close, though. It was a good attempt by the Hellborn team, of course. That would have been exactly what they needed to actually get back into this game, but unfortunately for them, once again, falling short, and now they're just going to have to rotate back into their own forest once more. But as we can see, there are already a ward of sight here on the hill, so they got full vision of the Legion team on Tempest farming here, and potentially they could go for a pick-off attempt here in the near future. Puzzle box as well finished on to Parasite. Still level 1, but still a great tool.
So, Parasite actually ended up going Ashley before the puzzle box, okay?
That it did. It was that first item pickup as we spoke about earlier. And
I mean, it's good
for serve a purpose, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good for taking team fights, but at the same time, if you can have a puzzle box level 3 at like 17, 18 minutes, then I would rather get that than an Astrolabe. Because you can always pick up an Astrolabe on Midas.
That is true. Midas was struggling in the start, and he's actually closing in on a Polkey now. I'm not entirely sure how much of a difference that Polkey is going to make at this point, though. He's only level 7, unfortunately, struggling a lot here. S4 here for the Legion team. It seems like a Legion team wants to try to get the pick off onto the Denver Pro, or the Swift play down here at the bot lane as well, but not entirely sure where the backup is, and therefore being a little bit too defensive. What would you assume? Like Probus is going to go for the Shrunken Head. That's for sure. But what would you expect for him to pick off after the Shrunken Head?
Well, I know Probus is a really defensive like carry player, so I assume I know he doesn't like Geos, so I'm guessing either like Frostwolf or Nullstone, or maybe even Wingbow.
All right, so there's a few different options then, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. But it all comes down to personal preference, because I know that he likes a Frostwolf and the Nullstone on flanks.
All right. Feels like one of those would be enough. Like Frostwolf Skull and the Nullstone seems like an overkill, but one of them could definitely work out, especially when you're up versus this Doctor Repulsor that's about to finish the Hellflower, and of course the Devourer as well with his ultimate. Yeah, Midas picked up his Paul key at least. Let's see if he's looking to get to use that here in the near future. Doesn't look like it. Seems like they are, or the Legion team are more than happy to just sit back and farm for now at least. Shrunken Head should be about to be finished on Clanks. It's actually been sitting on these items for quite some time now. Not picking up the Warhammer quite yet. Wants to keep that money for buyback, I assume.
I think it's like kind of funny that Miraxis is almost as high a GPM as Clinks is. Miraxis is actually on a bloodbath right now.
It is
18
10-0
minutes
and
into the
3.
game.
Yeah, we were talking
Haxor's...
about it during the draft a little bit. Like Haxor, we haven't necessarily seen him playing the Miraxis, but hey, he sure proved that he's more than capable of playing this hero as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's playing out of his mind right now.
Alright, so Tempest, which one? Or what?
The reference, playing out of his mind?
Playing out of it? What? What do you mean? Oh, yeah, the carry. Oh, yeah, mimicking me. Yeah, of course. Reference I've heard over and over from that DreamHack play when Punk Pang is getting a genocide almost, or getting the pick-off onto Flensmeister in that winner bracket final. Good times, good times. Tempest, by the way, okay, actually it's just going to finish the Steam Boots. I was about to ask you, what would you expect from the Tempest to pick up here in the near future? Would you expect the Pull Key, or perhaps just straight into a Shrunken Head?
I mean, I could see a Portal Key, but the thing is, if he picks up a Shrunken Head, he's not going to have any mobility, and there's still an Andro to cancel it. Like, I mean, he could go like a Portal Key, which I think might be his best bet, because he's most likely not going to get a good haul off anyways, or he could, I don't know, he could go like any number of items, like a tablet, Portal Key, BKB, Nullstone, I don't know. There's not much he can't do this game.
I think you're right though. I think that Portkey is definitely the right option here. I mean, they need to make something happen.
Yeah.
Like when that Hellflower hits for Dr. Repulsor, like there is no reason to sit back and wait any longer. Like things are not going to get any lighter for you. Like Clanks is just going to be even scarier as the game progresses. So I agree, Portkey should definitely be the cue for this Hellborn team to try to force a team fight of some kind.
Because even though there is an Andro, they need to get on top of the Clinks. Like, that is their only hope of winning this game.
Look at the bot lane, by the way. Clanks is, well, he's not entirely sure if someone is behind the Swiftblade. Of course, there is always the threat of the Veiled Rot gank. So he's going to play safe for now, but here we go, getting some juicy creep kills here at the tower at least, and the Shrunken Head should be finished now. Like, if he chooses to go for it, he's got the money for it. And there we go, right click it is. Denver Pro on Swiftblade, by the way. I mean, his farm is actually looking a lot brighter than it did a few minutes ago. Devourer initiated on here at the tier 2 tower as well. There is a DD on Miraxus, dealing a lot of damage. Bloodbath comes out. Midas gonna fall in the background though, and Miraxus is actually out of position big time now. Going for that kill without any team support nearby was risky, and I think it's going to cost him his Bloodbath streak. Yes, it is, and it's going in favor of the Tempest as well. So his Portal Key is not far away now.
Yeah, that was a super gritty play by Legion. They actually only ended up getting Devour. They lost their Bloodbath Miraxis and Midas. So that definitely was not worth it. And Clanks actually is, he's not passing, like he's not that high levels above Swiftblade anymore. Swiftblade or Doctor. If Swiftblade and Doctor could catch up in levels, I think Hellborn could actually win this game.
I agree. I cannot believe that we're actually looking at a potential comeback here for the Hellborn team. I thought it was over for sure when we saw a bloodbath on Meraxes and a 500 gold per minute there in the start. But somehow the Hellborn team has actually climbed their way back into their game. I think it comes down a little bit to the Alchemist Bones pickup on Swiftblade as well. The fact that the Legion team hasn't pressured him at all for that greedy item pickup. They have simply just been sitting back farming on their own. And
Yeah.
now losing that bloodbath streak on Meraxes, that's hurt. That hurts.
So Tempest almost has enough money for Portal Cube. He chooses to go that route. Doctor does have his Hellflower. Now on Doctor, I'd like to see a BKB now.
As the next item, yeah, I could definitely see that. What would you prefer to go, like, I mean, even, like, if it weren't to be the Shrunken Head, I mean, is there any other item that you could see viable for the Doctor Repulsor?
I mean, if he wants to go super greedy, you can go like a Grimoire or something, or even like. But I think the BKB is like it's the go-to item right here because look at how much lockdown that Legion has. They have Andro stun, they have Midas, they have Merax's combo. They have so much burst damage, and so I think that BKB is the definitely go-to item.
All right. We're just gonna have to wait and see, but I'm definitely leaning towards that option myself. Like Nullstone, would that be something to consider?
I mean, it could be, but it's only really good at like protecting against the Parasite Leech or his ulti or whatever. So I don't really think the Nullstone would be good here. I mean, if he wanted, yeah, I don't like the Nullstone here. I think he should go BKB like Grimoire or BKB Frostfield or something like that.
Alright, seems like the Legion team are confident enough to take a team fight at this point. At least they are gonna start to put some pressure on this tier 2 tower bottom here, but it doesn't seem like the Hellborn team is too much interested in actually defending this, and I can understand that. They are more than happy with the trades. Actually, Merax is gonna jump in with the Hellflower. I'm not entirely sure, I didn't catch the start of that, but the Quake stun must have missed somehow. This is still going to fall in the end, but it comes to the cost of 3 ports at least from the Legion team.
Yeah, I think this Midas though. I mean, he may be like nervous or something, having to try and fill Zibby's shoes, but he is not. Like the team, they're definitely dominating the control. Like they have the control of this game, and they're dominating. But Midas is still level 10, 200 GPM. He's actually lower GPM than their support. So he looks like he's a good player, but I think that he may be struggling under the pressure to compete with how Zibby usually does.
Yeah, that is safe to say. I mean, the same goes for like Mint in general, like their general atmosphere. I mean, they are usually known for having a suicide player that makes a lot of calls. And that might be for why they are lacking right now in terms of commitment. Haven't seen them do too much progress here since, well, the 50-minute mark or something like that, when they were actually in the Hellborn team's forest pushing that tier 2 tower at the bottom. But ever since then, they've just been kind of tapering off a lot when it comes to aggression, at least. Parasite, I think that he got the puzzle box level 3 finished. Yep, there we go. And the Clank's gonna pick up the wing bow there as well. So I would assume that this is going to be a wing bow. Is there by any chance that you could see the Genjuro?
I mean, he could go Genjuro. It wouldn't. It's definitely like an okay pickup, especially against the initiation they have. But they do have a Hellflower and Doctor. I think Wingbow is a solid pickup, especially against like Swiftblade, because pretty much he has to pick up a Savage Mace because of that. Genjuro. I mean, I could see Genjuro. Genjuro is a really good item on Clanks. It's really preference, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, I like when I think of Probask and Clanks, it's usually that Frostwolf Skull that comes to mind. Not entirely sure if this is the right game for a Frostwolf. Of course, there is the Devourer and the Swiftblade melee heroes, but in general, I feel like he's gonna have to be more worried about that jump potential of theirs.
Yeah, definitely. As long as like if they can't burst him down and like Endrin get the swap off, then they're right where they want to be.
Dr. Repulsor's gonna find himself a juicy DD rune, and he's gonna use this straight away. He's gonna jump in. The hook is going to catch Dr. Repulsor once more. That was, I mean, that's a tough one. I feel like he had to make the hook, otherwise the kill wouldn't have happened. So it was still a good try by Devourer. But at the same time, Dr. Repulsor should probably have watched his positioning a little bit more and stay to the right of the Clanks. But hey, it was a tricky situation, it happened fast, so can't blame him too much for that. But hey, this is open up for a Conqueror attempt, at least for the Legion team. Do you think they have what it takes to actually bring down Conqueror here?
Yeah, they definitely do. Clanks does so much damage and they have the puzzle box popped. Well, Doctor also doesn't have much mana though. He just spent a lot of it flying on the Clank, so he's gonna have to go heal before he can even fight them. Legion does have a good ward in the middle lane, scouting out if they're planning on defending. But yeah, it goes down way too fast for Hellborn to do anything.
Actually, it seems like they didn't have any wards in that area either, so maybe they weren't even aware of the Congo actually being attempted right there. But hey, Probask gets the token of life at least, and it seems like they are looking to start sieging this base here.
Yeah, one thing Cliff is really good at is sieging, because you see how he uses his flight below the cliff? He won't miss any auto attacks.
Oh, hooked. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I don't know. I mean, he had an option to go for that Devour right there and try to keep Clanks in place, but he's gonna port out instead. I'm not sure if that was the right option. Like, getting a hook onto Clanks that deep into your base feels like a good opportunity.
I mean, I realize how frustrating this can be for Hellborn, because Clanks can just literally sit there all day and just attack the tower.
Oh, look at that initiation though on the Parasite. The Alchemist Bone is going to come out and play, but at the same time Hellfire is going to be popped onto Swiftblade and he's going to fall. So 1-for-1 trade. They are going to buy back though, and they're going to jump here onto Midas. He's going to fall straight away. Clank's taking a lot of damage in the middle of the team, but Elemental Void is going to be cancelled somehow. Not entirely sure what happened for him. Dr. Bull's going to fall as well. It seems like the Clank's power is simply a little bit too strong at this point. Swift Slash is of course dealing a lot of damage, but the token of life is still activated. It's going to go down there with yet another buyback on Dr. Repulsor, as well as the one for Swiftblade earlier. Haxorang going to jump in trying to chase, but that's not going to happen. Legion team though coming out of that team fight in a very dominating fashion, and they are going to get the melee racks here as well. What happened? What went wrong in that fight?
I mean, Andrew was he was spot on with that swap. He stopped Tempest Ultimate like as soon as it got casted, so that was really well played by Serenia. But other than that, like they couldn't kill the Clanks, and Clanks was able to just sit there and attack freely. So Clanks is almost always gonna win fights like that if he's not being pressured and he's just sitting there doing massive amounts of damage. So I have to give MVP of that fight to Serenia.
Oh, there we go once again, the hook onto Meraxes. Dr. Repulsor is actually going to be able to survive that as well. Nice hook once more. Meraxes really tank with the Matrax. Oh my god, and the port out with the key. Of course, the Matrax does not cancel the pull key. Parasite is going to, well, he's going to be the sacrifice or the consolation prize for the Hellborn team here, but Legion team damage is done. 2 sets of racks now are down. Is there any way, if you're a Hellborn team right now, to actually get back into this game?
It's hard to say because of the fact that Clanks is so farmed and so is Meraxes. They have 2 super farmed heroes. And Tempest, it relies on Tempest, I think. Like, Tempest has to go to good hold off, but the fact that Andro was on top of that, he's ready to swap. So I don't think there's much Hellborn can do.
Dr. Pulsar is actually going to be Hellflowered here in the middle lane as well. That is the real Meraxes. A quick stun to finish it off. Well coordinated, or well played here by Haxorang once more. And yeah, I mean, that's almost a nail in the coffin right there for the Hellborn team. Dr. Pulsar falling once more. He's up to 5 deaths right now, dropping below the 400 gold per minute mark. I'm not sure if there's too much spirit left here in the Hellborn team. What is the next item choice going to be here for? Wait, no, they used all their money for buybacks in that last fight, both Swiftblade and Dr. Repulsor there, so they are still far away from their next set of items. Dr. Repulsor, as we can see, still doesn't have that shrunken head as we were talking about earlier, and that's simply forcing him to just play so defensive in those team fights. The hook once again is going to be attempted, as we could see in previous engagements. Like, the Alchemist Bones into the hook can really catch Parasite off guard, but at this point the Legion team is simply too far ahead. Swiftblade gonna charge in right there, try to scare the Legion team away a little bit, but Clanks is so damn dangerous and so damn tough to kill at this point. The melee racks, this is the third and final racks. Hellborn team going to feel forced to jump. Shrunken Head is actually going to be activated. The hook is going to miss, unfortunately. Clanks, there we go, the Elemental Void is going to try to accomplish something, but it's not going to happen. A nice coordinated Void Rip there from Andromeda, and the Hellborn team are looking to be in trouble. Quick stun on the top of 3 people. Hellborn team, Legion team are dominating this, that's safe to say.
Yeah, a really well played by Serenia canceling the ultimate. I mean, there's not much Hellborn can do. They have to be able to lock down like the Clanks with the Tempest, but it's just so hard when they have an Andro and a Parasite on the team.
I mean, you gotta question the last pick for the Hellborn team. Like Devour, like I understand if it's a personal preference, like a hero that you actually like, but in this game in particular, it just like it seemed doomed from the start. I mean,
Yeah.
not taking anything away from Haxorn, he played beautifully, he played really well in this game, but still, like he had a lot of things going for him in terms of the draft as well. So yeah, well played by We So Fresh. Hellborn team definitely needs to step up their game if they want to be able to take game number 2 here. Any final thoughts before we go on a short break? Anything that you would like the Hellborn team to address in this next game?
Ban Clinks.
Ban
Don't let that
Clinks.
hero through. Never let that hero through.
Wait. Wasn't it Complexity Gaming that just in the previous series
Yes, we
allowed
made
recent
a mistake
gaming?
and we learned from